All right, full-blown diagnostic today on the BMW. I don't know. Last night it was running good for like 10 minutes, and then I noticed it started getting hot. So I was like, okay, that's kind of stupid. That kind of sucks. Heat never came back. So what we're gonna do is do a compression test first. So I'm gonna go ahead. I've got the number one coil pack off. I'm gonna pull this spark plug out, chase this thread down there, and we'll go ahead and then see what the compression is of that cylinder, and then so on and so forth down the line. And then after that, depending on what I find with that, I'm gonna do a leak down test. So I'll be using compressed air and forcing it into the cylinder and see how it holds pressure. Yeah, this basically when I did this here, most of the coolant in there is just water, and I'll be 100% honest, I think it's just tap water and not distilled. So it could be causing me some issues with cooling properly and getting my heat properly. I want to knock these big things out of the way if I can, and then if the compression's good and the leak down test is good with no more of like a 10% variation, then I'll just go ahead and switch out the radiator, drain the block, and pull all that old nasty stuff out, and then make sure I put in the G48 or whatever it was, I think it's 48, in there, and just get everything properly cooled, because you can't have it overheating. And if it's any more work, I want to go ahead and get started on that now rather than waiting, because drift event's coming up, and yeah, I just got to get this car ready, so, and there's just not enough time. So anyway, let me work on getting this out, and we'll start running the compression test now. Disclaimer, I guess, if you haven't ever done one of these before and you're trying to do one, you need to pull the fuel pump fuse or relay, whichever your car uses. For me, it's this 15 amp fuse, and it was in this spot here, 54, I believe, number 54, between the 20 and the 30 there. So you got to pull that, because you want to crank the car over when you're doing this, but you don't want it to start. So you also don't want to flood the engine with the fuel, otherwise you have to change your oil and all that stuff. So anyway, let me go ahead and get this in here, and then we'll start cranking on it. All right. Interessante. It's not wet, so that's good. That's good. Go. Probably help if I had the right adapter on there. Alright, so you get that tight in there in the cylinder, and rest this somewhere. Hit this just to make sure you start out at 0. And now I'm going to go ahead and go in and crank on the car. Throw this cap on real quick. Not that it really matters, but go ahead and crank on it. Give it like 5 revolutions or so. Okay, update. Cylinder 1, we are at 180. which is good. That's great. So there's that. So let's go ahead and get this one out and throw the spark plug back in. I just spent, God, too much time. I had to actually pull out the glove box just to access the relay panel, because I pulled both those fuses. The car was still starting. Pulled the relay, and honestly the car was still starting. It was stupid. So it was almost like it primed it. I mean, my fuel pump must be working great because it primed it quick and it gave it enough gas just to start. And so I kind of had to like let it run itself out in one ignition cycle. It sounded like crap, but oh well. I think we've got all the fuel out now, so I'm just gonna go ahead, throw this one back in. But 180 is great for the #1 cylinder. That is great news. I'm really happy about that, but we still got more cylinders to test, so I won't get my hopes up. Won't get them up too high. So unplug this, lift this out. It's actually really easy to deal with the coil packs. Most cars use a little 10 mil to hold them on, but these are like quick connects, so pretty cool. And if you're like me and that crap happens, let's see here. There we go. The tricks. Get yourself one of these magnets. They're cheap and they're lifesavers, especially when stuff falls in the engine bay. So this plug here, it's a little wet. You could probably see. Yeah, that one's a little wet. So I would not be surprised if this one gives us a bad read. Almost in there. This thing is awkward to thread in. Alright, make sure there's no air in there. I'm gonna go ahead and crank this one over. Alright, 175. Alright, well, 4 more to go. Dude, I'm really hoping and praying. Like I said, I still gotta do a leak down test to be sure of everything that's going on before I just revamp the cool system. But man, I just hope everything's solid with the motor. Hope everything's good. So, alright, let's pull this out and we'll get moving on the next. Alright, this is cylinder number 3. $165. So not as good, but not bad. Good angle. Yeah, I just have to come get it. Alright, we're back up. 170, 171, something like that. Alright, 5 and 6 are gonna be fun. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'll get it. So let me pick this back up once I get the compression tester in there. Alright, so take out the little panel here, the cabin air filter. Looks like there's T30 bolts, looks like 4 of them, and we should be able to hopefully slide this out of the way and then get more access back there. Well, so much more access now. Back here I can see heater hoses and yada yada yada. Yeah, anyway. Now we got some good access in there to get this stuff out. Honestly, just a lot more room in general. At this point, I really wish it didn't overheat. That way I wouldn't have to do all this, but I'm sure I would have had to done it at some point, so oh well. All right, like 175. Whew. All right, I got one more. One more. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, so it looked like cylinder 4 was the lowest at 165. This is 185, so we are good. Compression is all there. Compression is good. Whew. All right.